What is up, Z fam? Welcome to a new video. In today's video, we are going to be going over and going in depth with the Battlefield 6 REDSEC classes that you could choose from in this game. Now, unlike Warzone, where you could kind of just be a bit of a one-man army, you could run and gun, kind of run off on your own and take care of business, you could still do some of that in this game, don't get me wrong, but Battlefield REDSEC is a much more team-based game. It's about working with your team, it's about working with the classes and abilities that you have at your disposal, and in today's video, I'm going to give you all of the information you need to make a very informed decision on what class you should be choosing in the game and what suits your play style the best. I have already put a degenerate amount of hours into the game, playing every different role and playing with other incredible players that have also played some of these roles even more than I have and given me some solid insight so I can bring that information forth to you. I love how they integrated the class system from the multiplayer into the Battle Royale. I love how all the perks work. It just flows really well, and it makes for some super cool team-based moments where you can really work together. If you guys enjoyed today's video and you enjoy these Battlefield 6 informational style videos, you want to see more of them, make sure you smack that like button so I know you enjoy it, sub to the YouTube channel, and turn on the bell notifications so you never miss out on more of this information. Let's get into it. So over on the left-hand side, you can obviously see a quick breakdown of what you get with each class, but if you click on the view details, you get an even more in-depth rundown. So let's kick things off with the Assault class. In the Assault class, you will be getting Gadget 1, the Assault Ladder. This equipment provides access to higher vantage points. Depending on the angle of the placement, it can act as a bridge between buildings or a ramp to help traverse obstacles in the battlefield. Obviously, everyone knows how the ladder mechanics work. It's definitely really cool. I wouldn't say it is the most useful item on this list by any means. Actually, I would say the Assault class is maybe the least valuable to have, but that doesn't mean it is not valuable. It is obviously still very useful, and if you have a full roster of an Assault, Medic, Engineer, and Recon, obviously using them all together can be extremely strong, especially if everyone knows how to play their roles. Gadget 2 is a high explosive launcher, similar to the smoke launcher that the Medic gets, but obviously you're an Assault player, so this one is going to deal damage and cause explosions. Now, just like the noob tube from COD, this thing can kill somebody on a direct impact, but then you can also damage people just from the blast damage of shooting it at their feet. Each class has a signature weapon proficiency. Now, that doesn't mean you have to use those particular weapons. Obviously, in a battle royale, you're going to be picking up all assortments of different kinds of weapons, but it's just good to keep it in mind that certain weapons are going to be better on certain classes. So for the Assault class, your signature weapon is the Assault Rifle Proficiency. You get faster draw times with Assault Rifles, and you can fire sooner when exiting a sprint. And the signature trait, basically like a passive perk that the Assault class gets, is actually pretty solid. It's called Mission Focused. In the Battle Royale, respawn towers will capture quicker, which is super good. The capture towers in this game are extremely loud. Players, if you hop on a capture tower in this game, it takes quite a minute to actually get it done on any other class, and it's extremely loud. Almost every time I hop on a res tower, somebody rolls up and wants to get me off that thing, or if I see someone on a res tower, I'm doing the same thing because it's very easy to see, very easy to get called out. But luckily with the Assault role, you can actually speed that time up significantly so you can get out of that situation as quickly as possible. In that first half of the game where you have the ability to respawn when you die, you only have one chance to respawn, other than obviously being res to res tower. Everyone kind of gets a single one life resurgence instead of like a gulag. Let's say you and the boys land golf course and your squad gets wiped. If you are in that combat state, your teammates are going to respawn faster if you are playing the Assault role. Now, on the right-hand side of the screen, these are just as important, if not more. Some of the perks in this game are so damn good to have and just basically make your overall kit even better. If you don't know how the perks work in this game, basically in game, you're going to see all your perks on the right-hand side of the screen, and collecting XP in the game, whether that be through obviously just playing the game, surviving, getting kills, doing missions, finding those little golden intel crates on the ground, all of those things, you want to make sure you pick those up, and you want to make sure you're doing that to rank up your perks as fast as possible, because these things are super strong. I'm going to start bottom to top here on the training side because it's just easier to go over the perks, and that's also the way that it levels up in game. So the first perk you're going to get on Assault is the faster plating, the quick plating. Armor replating is now 33% faster. It's quite a decent boost. And in this game, I don't know about you guys, but the plating is insanely slow, super slow. Obviously, especially if you're coming over from Warzone and you have something to compare it to, this quick plating can make you feel pretty good. It makes you feel pretty fast, and obviously a lot of the sweats like picking Assault just because of stuff like that. Being able to get back in the gunfight even faster is definitely very useful. And it lines up with the what you would imagine an assault class would be. Just continuously getting in the gunfight, applying pressure, so that quick plating allows you to do that more efficiently. The second perk you're going to unlock is called Grenadier. High explosive launcher carrying capacity is increased to 5 rounds, so you just get more rounds in that high explosive launcher. The third perk is going to buff your high explosive launcher again. So basically, when you shoot the launcher out, it's going to break out into 5 different bombs, which explode. Just makes a high explosive launcher even better. And finally, the class passive ability. Every single class has this. It's the same one. It's called Stockpile. This basically makes it so your class gadget resupply rate is increased by 10%. Now, these effects reset upon death, not when you get knocked, but when you fully get killed out. These effects will reset. You will lose that faster cooldown recharge rate. But if you get all the way to an end game and you've just been racking up XP all game, you will notice that you are able to use your gadgets so fast. Like, for instance, you could put a munitions crate down as a medic and almost have another one ready to use immediately. Or if you're playing Recon, you put out a Recon drone, and as soon as the enemy shoots it out, you can have another one back pocket ready to be used right away. That's if you've been stacking up XP for the whole game, and you now have that class passive ability Stockpile dialed in. Now, moving on to the Engineer role. Starting off the left-hand side with the signature set, your Gadget 1 is the Repair Tool. It works the exact same way it does in Conquest or Breakthrough or the multiplayer modes, but in the Battle Royale, if you guys have noticed, when you're running through buildings sometimes, you will see these safes inside buildings. These safes, when you walk up to them, will tell you that you can only open these up if you are the Engineer class. So pull out that Repair Tool, hold on the safe for a few seconds, and boom, that bad boy is going to crack open and give you multiple different high-level weapons, XP, all this different stuff. You can't go wrong with more loot. I would know. ZLANER would know. The Loot Goblin himself would know. Gadget 2, you get the Aim Guided Launcher. It inflicts greater damage on the sides, tops, and rear of the vehicle where the armor is thinner. Yeah, so if you didn't know that as well, shooting explosives at those weak points on, for instance, a tank is extremely important to do. Sometimes you can get a nice one-shot. I will literally one-shot a tank, take out the whole team in there, and it's beautiful. It's incredible. The signature weapon for the Engineer is the SMG proficiency, which is going to give you improved hipfire control when using the SMGs. The signature trait for Engineers is called Mechanized Infantry. You're going to take less explosive damage when near friendly vehicles and prevent them from being occupied by hostiles in the event that all vehicle crew exit. Going over to the perks on the right-hand side, the first perk you're going to get is called Enhanced Targeting, where your launcher is now aim-guided via a magnified optic. Very, very nice for taking out tanks. Again, being able to just guide that missile makes it easier to hit that shot. Devastating Impact is your second perk. Damaging enemy vehicles reduces their repair effectiveness by 50% for 10 seconds. And last but not least, Mobility Kill Warhead. Aim-guided launcher hits temporarily immobilize vehicles for 8 seconds. Now, this particular perk is incredible. And I'll explain why. My teammate was able to shoot the tank, immobilize it for 8 seconds, and give me the time to put an airstrike on top of the vehicle, and they had nothing they could do about it. It just immediately takes care of the tank. It is beautiful. It is incredible. It's a very useful perk. Again, even more useful when you're coordinating it with your team. Moving on to my personal favorite, and the one that I've ran the most so far in the game, the support role, or the medic. So Gadget 1 for support is the supply bag. Now, when I first started throwing this thing down, I thought I could just basically throw it down and it would just give me full ammo and heals and all that stuff. It'll give you and your teammates more ammo, but over time. It's not immediately. It doesn't just give you hundreds of bullets all at once. You have to sit on top of the bag or in the vicinity of the bag, and it will give you that. Same with the healing effect. Now, the healing effect is super useful because let's say you're in a gunfight and you get all your plates taken off and shot down to 1 HP. You throw this thing on the ground at your feet, and you're immediately going to start that health regeneration. So now, some sweats in the game are thinking that Assault's going to be really good, right? Because you can plate 33% faster, which is definitely very, very good to be able to get you back in the gunfight. But this supply bag is really good as well because it takes a long time for your health to actually start regenerating its health. You can put the plates on super quick, which is nice. But with the supply bag, if you get shot all the way down, yeah, you're not going to be able to put your plates back on faster, but you can start that base health regeneration faster. But not just for yourself, also for your teammates, and it gives you ammo. It's just overall a more team-oriented perk, but it can still be used a little bit selfishly by regenerating your own health. Let's say if you're in a gunfight and you're shot down to 1 health. Gadget 2 is going to be the Smoke Grenade Launcher. Now, these smokes aren't going to last as long as the smoke screen that you can pick up on the ground, the smoke screen that you can call in the airstrike. Now, that airstrike takes a second to call in, but once it's called in, that smoke screen is actually extremely useful and covers a much wider ground and lasts longer. But the smoke grenade launcher is still super useful in a game where this isn't Fortnite. You can't just build a wall. If your roster's running out in the open, I tend to carry these along with 3 extra smoke grenades because I find smokes in this game are super, super useful. If you catch yourself out in an open field and you have no cover and you start getting shot at, you start freaking spamming these smoke grenades all over the place, and it can help you and your team get to cover. Now, this smoke screen can do more than just make it harder for enemies to shoot you and see you. It also blocks the ability to spot targets and clears spotted marks from all infantry inside the smoke radius, which is super useful. Now, one of the main reasons why I love running support is because my favorite guns in this game are the LMGs. I love using the LMGs. They're super, super good in this game. Particularly the KTS 100 and the RPK. Those things are disgusting. And then your signature trait as a medic, similar to as in the multiplayer, you can distribute health packs to your teammates when they directly interact with you. So they can literally run up onto your character, interact with your character, and it will give them a health pack. Now, another reason why I love the support class is for the perks that you get with it. Perk number 1 is called Supply Line. Armor carrying capacity gets increased by 2 plates. Ammo carrying capacity is increased for all ammo types. So not only do you have the supply bag that's going to be able to give you ammo all game long, you just hold more plates and more ammo. I find myself almost never, ever, ever running out of plates and never running out of ammo. And in a game where plates are like gold, I don't know about you guys, but plates in this game are hard to come by. It is very useful to be able to hold those extra couple of plates. So in the end game, you're not scrambling for them and asking your boys to drop some. Perk number 2 is called Urgent Aid, where you are going to drag your down teammates 20% faster, get them behind that cover a little bit quicker, and you revive them 2.5 seconds faster. This perk is disgusting. Most of the game, I like carrying defibs, no matter which class I play, because they are so useful, and they're still useful even with these perks, to just get your boys back in the fight super quick. If you've ever ran into against a squad that know what they're doing, and all 4 teammates have defibs, it doesn't matter if you knock them. Dude, if you have a good 4-stack using defibs, you guys can just keep rezzing each other super fast and they will not see it coming. But luckily with this class, I can sometimes drop that for maybe a launcher or something we might need later in the game to deal with a tank or, you know, something else. And I don't mind dropping it as much when I do have Urgent Aid on, because that res becomes significantly faster. You can really feel that difference, especially if you combine it with the 3rd perk, where the smoke grenade launcher is going to speed up revival to 2.2 seconds for all classes, and it provides 12.5 health per second regen after 2.5 seconds. It also slows the downed bleed out. So basically, to sum all that up, if your teammate is knocked, what you're going to want to do when you have all these perks unlocked is you're going to want to shoot a smoke grenade launcher on top of them, which you're probably going to do anyway to get them cover. And within that smoke, you're going to res them faster. You're going to res them faster from the Urgent Aid. So you're going to get them on their feet so fast. I end up like I said, I can drop my defibs end game and be totally fine on the support role, because I find if I shoot a smoke grenade on a down teammate and go for the res, they are up super fast. On top of that, they're going to get that health regen, which is super useful. And it also speeds up the revival for all your other teammates. So you shoot the smoke on them and maybe your boy can get them up. It'll speed up that res. Now, all these classes are extremely useful, and when you're playing with a really, really good team, it'd almost be useful to have 1 player per role. It'd be very, very useful to have, and then you can all just combine all of those different abilities and skills together. But if you're running duos or you're running with random fills and you kind of want to figure out, like, what is the best class for me to use, my 2 top picks are without a doubt the support role and the recon role. For the recon role, gadget number 1, you're going to get a motion sensor. This motion sensor, whenever you have it and there are people around, you want to throw this thing on the ground, make sure you're getting the habit of tossing this on the ground every gunfight you get into, because it gives you basically an advanced UAV. If you look at your UAV, you're going to have them fully on the map at all times. Now, the only caveat to this is that if they are stopped or like laying down prone, if they don't move, it's a motion sensor, they do not come up on the minimap. So if you've ever put this thing down and then you ran into a room and you got shot in your back and you said, oh, they didn't come up on my radar, that's because they're sitting in a quarter camp and their balls off. That's probably why. And they can still move if they are moving in the crouch position or the prone position. But if they're running around in a gunfight, which most people are, and they're not even thinking about a motion sensor being put down, you're going to be able to see them on that minimap, and it is super useful, and so will your teammates. But keep in mind that enemies are going to be able to find this thing because it does emit a sound audible to your hostiles. So, like, if you lay this thing down, put it in a nice cozy corner, or put it in a spot where they're not going to be able to get to, because they are going to know that it is on the ground. Now, it is very early into the game's lifespan, so not a lot of people are going to know what that sound even is. So abuse it while you can. Let people Put that thing down as much as you can. Now, most people aren't going to hear that and just immediately think, oh, I have to crouch, or oh, I have to prone and walk. They're going to just keep running around headless, like with their head cut off, and you're going to be able to see them wherever they go. Gadget number 2 is a Recon drone. This thing is disgusting, man. This piece of equipment right here might be one of the best pieces of equipment in the entire game, just by how much intel you get from using it. Again, this game is so very different than a game like Warzone. This game requires a lot more teamwork. It requires a lot more strategy. And there is not a perk in this game better than the Recon drone to give you the most information possible and help you create those strategies for an end game plan. Now, this Recon drone only gets better with the perks that I'm going to talk to you about here in a second, but let's continue on here with the signature weapon, which is the sniper rifle proficiency. It gives you improved marksmanship skills, including reduced weapon sway, quicker rechambering between shots, and better breath control for steadier aim. This may just be a bug right now. I've used all the other different classes in the game, and whenever I pick up a sniper, it just does not feel nearly as good as when you're using it on Recon. You can still, hit those heads. You can still get some nice shots with it. But now, I don't know if this is a bug right now, but all of the other classes does not give you breath control, better breath control for steadier aim. So I don't think you can do steadier aim with the breath control unless you're playing as the Recon. I'm not sure if that's a bug or if that is intended to not be able to hold your breath on the other classes, but that's how it works for now. So if you're using the sniper on the game and you're playing the assault class, you might aim at somebody's head sometimes and say, hey, I aimed right at that guy's head and still missed a shot. I'm telling you, moments like that happen so often in this game. I find the only time I'm really wanting to use a sniper, to really use a sniper, is when I pick that Recon class, because it is so much crispier. It plays way better. The rechambering speed is better. The aiming is way easier. All of that stuff is better, as it should be. Now, down to the signature trait on the Recon class. This is probably the best signature trait out of all of the signature traits that you get on any of the classes. It is called passive spotting. Spot enemies by aiming at them. Literally, it's as simple as that. When you're in a gunfight, when you're out in the fields, when you're looking around, you're running around in the open, sometimes you can actually just randomly spot somebody that you didn't even see, because it's going to live ping them. You don't have to live ping any enemies in your vicinity. As long as you just look at them, it's going to ping them for you and your team, and it is extremely useful. Sometimes the map can get a little bit hard to see people. A lot of foliage, the firestorms going off in the background. This is going to make it a lot easier for spotting enemies. So you definitely always want at least 1 or 2 of these on the roster. The first perk you're going to unlock for Recon is called Bombardier. This is going to give you a Recon drone that can drop explosive payloads. And dude, this makes for some incredible clips. I was playing with Stone just the other day, and this man was running people with this thing, man. He was able to not just scout people and find out where they were, but once he found out where they were, he was able to fly over top of them and drop a bomb on their head to inflict high amounts of damage and sometimes even just kill them completely. Him and I were also testing out in the duo mode. We both ran Recon for a game and tested out using 2 at the same time. And dude, it is hilarious. I can only imagine how it would be if you were using 4 of these. You can basically just fly all the drones over somebody's head, and it's like your own personalized mini airstrike. It is hilarious. The second perk for the Recon class, again, another insanely broken one, and probably why the Recon class is the best one in the game. It makes fights insanely easy for you and your squad. You just get if you get an opener, it's going to ping. As long as their teammates are within a 25-meter radius, they are all going to be pinged on your minimap, and it is disgusting. It's ridiculous. You're able to track them just like a motion sensor would track them. It tracks them for up to 5 seconds, makes it way easier to figure out where the rest of the squad is after you've knocked somebody. Super strong. And then the third and final perk, not as useful, but still can be useful, can be used in different situations, is the loitering munition, where the Recon drone can self-destruct for additional damage. And that's it, folks. Now, I'm going to give you a quick rundown on what I think, a little tier list of what I think the best classes are in the game. But now take this with a grain of salt, because obviously, like I said before, this is a very team-based game. A lot more strategizing goes into this game than a game like Warzone. Strategizing with your team and using all these perks at your disposal. You don't want to maybe just run a full stack of assaults or recons or medics or engineers, because you may need some of the abilities from the other perks. Maybe you run a full stack of medics, and now you don't have somebody to take out the tank in the end game. With that said, I will still give you what I think are the best to least classes to use in the game, and then you can just fight amongst your teammates on who should use which one. At rank number 1 on the tier list, I'm going with the Recon class. This class just has way too much useful tools with the motion sensor, the Recon drone for being able to scout out where people are at, And then more importantly, the perks that you get with this from being able to track the track pulse perk that you get from this when you down an enemy and be able to see their squad, insanely overpowered. And the passive spotting that you get from this by just staring in the direction of an enemy and it's going to ping them for you and your teammates. Again, this class is ridiculously broken. I'm seeing most of the sweats, most of the top tier players in this game are running Recons for sure. At number 2, I'm going with the support class. The reason why I go with number 2 with this one, and it's very close to Recon for me, is just because obviously all the rezzing and smoke grenade use that you have from helping out your team and the supply bag is really good, but this is also a class that you can also be pretty selfish with. And I don't think it's good to be selfish all the time in this game. It's a very team-based game, but if you did want to run a gun, it is still very useful because let's say you're in a gunfight, you get put down to 1 HP, you throw the supply bag down, boom, your health regen is starting quick. You got a smoke grenade launcher to get out of sticky situations. And again, the LMG proficiency, I love using LMGs in this game. I think they are super, super strong. So it's just really nice to have that. Now, at number 3, I'm going to have to go with the engineer because, again, it's a very team-based role. If you're going for wins, having somebody on the team that can deal with tanks in the end game is extremely, extremely useful. Tanks can make or break a game in the end game. And if you don't have the necessary tools to deal with them, you're going to be screwed. And then, yes, last but not least, I will put Assault at the end. But, again, I personally like playing an assault style role, one where I'm able to run and gun and be a little bit more of a lone wolf, but you don't want to do too much lone wolfing in this game because you will find out very quickly that it is not Warzone. And yeah, that's basically it, folks. I hope this thorough breakdown of what every class is capable of doing helps you choose the role that will work best for you in the game. Send this to some of your homies so they can also have more information on it and know which role they should be choosing so you guys can create a God squad. Folks, thank you so much for watching the video. If you enjoyed, again, make sure you like it, sub, turn on the bell notifications. Until next time, thanks for watching.